Yo, what is up guys, it's me Eve again here playing Tokyo Ghoul Break the Chains. In today's video we're gonna do the review for the new Carnival character who is with and who is Anteiku. It's an Owl Anteiku, basically Yoshiwara and Owl. And as I thought previously, this guy is extremely good and I'm really impressed with him. We did the summons on the stream, and then I also played a few games, as well as I played a little bit more in the strategy arena with him, and I'm really impressed with him. He does a good damage. He has a lot of debuffs, a lot of buffs. He survives a lot. But first of all, let's take a look at his basic stats, how they're looking right now. And obviously, he's number one. And that's purely because his CP wise, he is the best in the game. HP wise is okay, number 3 is pretty good. Attack number 3 is also really good. Defense is a little bit lackish, but still, that's 12, it's pretty good. Like even someone like, for example, Shu, who is 16, still in Anteiku can survive a lot, and having a 12 on that is not really bad stat wise. So in terms of stats, he's great. So if you want to boost your stats, definitely a good pick. Even if you're gonna use him as a stat stick, it's already great because his stats wise is very high, and it's gonna help you boost your maybe Anteiku a few thousands more, especially if you have a full build on him. If you have a gooder C cells, for example, I don't have a full a gooder C cells for him, but if you have gooder C cells, you will be able to do all of that. In terms of his abilities, let's get into that one. The active skill, so on 3-star skill, grant determination to all allied characters for 2 turns, then deal ultra deathmatch damage equal to 260% of an attack to all enemies. So he is an AoE damage dealer, and he actually does, even in RTA, he does a very solid damage. I would say very solid damage, especially after he gets buffs. It's even more and even better. Determination reduces damage taken by 15%, so damage reduction exists for him as well. So he suits into run Anteiku very well. If already under determination, when gained again, grant fighting spirit for 3 turns, ultra deathmatch for each fighting spirit on all allied characters. The skill coefficient increases by 6% for up to 48. A total of 3 stacks. Additional increase attack by 10%. At 5 stacks, increase damage dealt by 15%. At 8 stacks, deal additional damage equal to 30% of the attack to the enemy target. So he goes a lot of buffs for his stuff, especially if you're gonna use him with the old Owl and the gut cell. This thing could very hurt for a lot of for a lot of teams, except for maybe Anteiku. Other than that, every team is gonna have a problematic part with fighting this AoE damage dealer. Fighting Spirit increases basic stats by 3% up to 3 stacks. As well, great, you get yourself 9% here in basic stats increase, and then you're getting yourself the attack buffs. So that's really good. And even though this is a huge essay, but still, just purely his active skill is already extremely good. Passive skills. When a battle starts, grant all allied character determination for 2 turns. When you gain any buff other than combined force, grant yourself combined force for 1 turn, up to 3 times. When attacking, for each combined force you have, reduced target's defense by 3% for this skill. Determination reduce damage taken by 15% if already under determination. When gained again, grant the fighting spirit, and the combined force increases pen rate by 3%. So he also debuffs here. He doesn't only buff your team as well as himself, but he also can debuff the enemies as well as increase his pen rate. So that's another boost for his damage as well. That's already so many boosts that he gets for his damage. That's crazy to me. How many more can you get on one character? When your turn starts, grant yourself one Warpath. When Warpath reaches 3 stacks, increase your skill level, remove all your debuffs, and grant yourself debuff immunity for 1 turn. This fucking guy is crazy. Afterwards, when your turn starts, reduce Warpath 1 stack. When only 1 stack remains, Warpath will increase again. So increases all basic stats by 3%. So this is, he can also increase his skill levels, he can also remove debuffs, grant yourself the debuff immunity as well. Like, he can do it all. Again, we already looked at him from the leaks, and I said it before, and this is like, this thing is crazy. That he can do all of the stuff that, like, for example, Anteiku characters, like every one of them have their own role. So for example, Hina is the buffer, as well as applying you debuff immunities, all of that stuff. For example, Green Toka is the damage dealer, as well as giving you support with a charm. Red Toka is there for the support, as well as doing a decent damage with her abilities as well. But he just has it all. One-man army, like as true as it could be. When a turn starts, grant yourself a shield equal to 3%, so now he can also do Red Toka stuff with having a shield. Turn for each allied character on the field. So again, depending on how much allied characters from Anteiku you have, the more shields he gets. When another allied character takes single target damage, if you have a shield, absorb 50% of that damage and retaliate against that. The attacker dealing deathmatch damage equal to 150% of your attack. Retaliate can trigger once per turn, so he can also do some cheap damage, but it only works versus single target. So mostly CCG could get put down with this stuff. Aogiri, for the most part, 2 Ayatos will not care about this. Psy Ayato, Jason, and Senti could definitely see some reflection of the damage to themselves, that's for sure. But also, like that absorb is pretty huge as well. Again, this is also for each fighting spirit on an allied character. The skills coefficient increases. 3 stacks additional damage, and so on. So he buffs damage again as well with the deathmatch here. Gaining power burst increases damage dealt by 10%, and the weak increases your basic stats by 8%. So on all of these stuff, overall, he's incredibly good character. Well, we're not gonna like go into each skill in here, because we already talked about that in leaks. But we're gonna see what the best teams for him I would recommend you use. What are the interesting teams that you can also try to use with him, because again, he seems like a very diverse unit. Only his third star is really like requires you to have the full Anteiku. It doesn't really specifically say that you need to have a full Anteiku, because he still gets the shields even if you have like only 1 or 2 of those Anteiku units, but you don't need more than that. So with this, he can be very diverse, because this one works for everyone, this one works with everyone, this one still kind of works with a lot of different units. Obviously, Anteiku would be much better, because then you get full potential for him, but even in the diverse teams, he could work really well. And because of that, first of all, let's take a look at the Anteiku team that I would recommend you using. Obviously, it would be Hina, Green Toka, the 2 characters that you can't really exchange, and then 2 Ols, just purely because this Ol gives a lot of CP as well as all of his buff. This guy, you need to have a gut cell on him. If you don't have the gut cell, then it still would be better to use Red Toka as the basically a standard Anteiku that I'm using right here. I swapped Rangy for Rabbit because she's got still some passive skills on 3 stars. I'm using her, but again, obviously Rangy is much better, but in terms of CP for me, she's much better than Rangy for now. But if I get better stuff for Rangy, then maybe I'm gonna swap Rangy for her later on. But in this sense, this is like my team that I'm going for right now. Obviously, again, Rangy much better. But this is a team if you have the gut cell. If you have the gut cell, then for sure this all is going to be much more better for this, especially him buffing your damage. This guy can do insanely big damage, as well as be very, very scary in that sense. So this is one team. This is like basically an all gang team, we'll call it. This team is a little bit more of a CP based team. So if you can make this team work, because purely, for example, Shu has a very high CP stat. This all has a very high CP stat. Sen has a decent CP stat. Renji might not have the biggest CP, but he's obviously here for the buff on these characters. All also with the gut cell has a pretty decent CP stat. So with that in mind, you can try to go for this team where you will be trying to do is starting first, and then you have a very, very big advantage. Sen is going to buff your skill levels. This Shu can demolish anyone. This all is going to buff damage for Shu or for all, depending on who are you going to go for. And because of that, you can do insane amount of damage with these two, with just being these two being supports for them. As well as obviously, if you want to go for like road of CP, you can obviously switch up some characters that you have leveled up as well that have better CP for instead of Renji here, but I think Renji just works the best. As well as in this team, all still gets a lot of value because he still gets all of his stuff. Also, Shu gets all of his passives as well activated, because there is no other characters other than No Orc and Anteiku, so he also uses all of his passives. And this all is just purely for the support. Again, you need to have a gut cell on this team, otherwise it's not gonna work well. Because if you're not starting first here with this team, you'll probably get fucked really hard. Because Sen is not Hina, she's not gonna buff your survivability much. And if you don't start first and you can apply her active skills on you, then you're gonna have a very hard time to win, and probably will get one-shotted as well, or at least one of your characters is gonna be instantly getting one-shotted, and for that probably your Sen is gonna be the first to get shotted there, and then you're left without the support. So in that sense, if you only try this if you have the full build for this team. The other team that I could recommend you trying out is gonna be the all diverse team. So you switch Hina for Sen here. You're gonna remain with the green token. You're gonna put Psy Arima here, and in the backup again for just purely any stat stick or Renji in that sense. Also could possibly try Mado, but I would say Renji is much better than anyone else. So in this team, it also all is getting at least two stacks of his shields, as well as you can get some shields from here. Sen is going to be here for the skill levels, so these two are going to be doing a very big damage. She's also going to be doing very big damage. The only thing that you need to think about is having the charm on him. So you need to have a very good investments into this Arima. So this is like an old version of a diverse. Usually, previously people would use something like this in that diverse team, but I think with all it could also work pretty well, because all is definitely much better than this rabbit, and in that sense this could be something you could try to play. I think it is going to work pretty well, but again you need to have this charm on him, as well as you need to have very strong and big investments into this Arima to make this work as well. As well as in terms of CP, you definitely want to try to start first, and because of that I would assume you need to have around 960 to 980 CP on this whole thing to make it work. I unfortunately can't do it because my Arima's investments are very low. I didn't invest in at all, and because of that unfortunately I can't play it, but I definitely would try this team if I had a chance. Also, like kinda Hina also works here, but I think Sen is better with when you're gonna be using it with the Psy Arima as well. So I would recommend going for Sen. So these three teams, I think for the most part, are the best ones that you can go for. They look pretty interesting. As well as it really depends on what are your investments on the characters. So if you have the good investments in Arima, this could be definitely a possibility for you to try something this interesting in PvP. it could definitely work, especially with Arima, Sen, and Green Toka being a very popular diverse team option, and a lot of those builds really work out for those who play them. But again, this is the main team I would say you should be trying. Again, you could try putting this all in the back, even with the God Cell, and putting the red Toka here. So still using red Toka, in a sense, red Toka is still very good. I wouldn't recommend you replacing her. She's still very solid unit, but just purely for the CP sake, the God Cell with green Owl is much more better. And I don't think you can replace these two because there's too much importance in them. But this is also could work. Other than that, hopefully you like the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment, as well as tell me what you think about the new Owl. Are you gonna pull for him? If you pulled, obviously tell me how much you pulled there. And hopefully you have a great day, and I'll see you on the next one.